Good evening. This is my grandpa Jiesong, who can be regarded as one of the most important painters and only alive prestigious painters within the Cantonese district. And I'm very appreciative for him, who granted houses and a lot of the assets as a gift for the prolonged relationship that we collaborate with each other and to produce the art productions together. And tonight I'm going to introduce one of his most famous paintings to demonstrate the frontier juncture and to compare with the technical skills that one of the most important impressionist artists, Mr. Claude Monet, who produced and applied for this technique to his famous painting, which is called the Art of the Seine near the Givenchy. And how great the colors that the painters who can apply for their paintings decide how much the degree of the qualities that the painters who can surpass their precedents that create the style as their breakthroughs. And that means, in other words, the satisfaction and appreciation of the audience and the experts depends on the degree of the coincidence that arose by the smooth flowing sequential color that can be received by the sensations of the audience, and the color that create and stimulate by the authors themselves by means of the color space, such as the saturation and the brightness along with the color hue. And according to the recent research, scientific research, the people who have the tendency to have the temporal overestimate of the blue stimuli colored rather than the blue ones, even though in some circumstances the red colors have been overrated, being more arousing. And in this way, that means that even though the painters who apply the more reddish colors to create a warming atmosphere, but in terms of the audience view, they still believe that they receive more the blue color rather than the red ones. And this theory has already against a bunch of the artists and the experts who suggest that Monet make use of a bunch of the reddish colored or orange colored to express a reach of the dawnlight that reflect on these two rivers in the arms of the Seine near the Givenchy. And in my opinion, I firmly believe that Monet has already successfully introduced the homogeneous oxide effect to generate the trigonal big pyramid structure, and gradually from the light reddish to the dark reddish colored. And to achieve this weight, at first he introduced a bunch of the potter's pink colored instead of the reddish colored to express the horizon of the water surfaces. And spontaneously also indicating this scenario has already been set under the autumn dawn rather than using a bunch of the reddish colored. And after that, he utilized a large amount of the seine blue instead of the large amount of the violet colored that regular artists who use and import as usual. He just made use a little bit violet colored to demonstrate the shadows as a decoration by means of the flickering black blobs and strokes. And because the fluorescent blue, which is a color to demonstrate the deep blue in the reddish massive tone in shadows, it's a very effective way to make use of the fluorescent blues instead of the violet colored. And in this way, he has already successfully built a homogeneous oxide effect from the potter's paint on the surface of the water to the underground shadowed, which reflect the trees, the realistic luxuriant trees above the surfaces of the water. And in this way, as a result, the red color has already been extended for the stimulations in terms of the people's view, and he successfully and smartly control the behaviors of the people who are appreciating his own words, and to create their ability to precisely time the duration of the internal visual stimuli by means of the switching colors from the reddish to blue color, along with some decoration of the violet. And compared to similarly, we also make use of the ultra or oxide green to build the ultra oxide big pyramid structure on the basis of the fluorescent cyan that as the main color my grandpa and I who use to apply for this huge paintings composed for the large amount of the mountains. And because the fluorescent cyan is the color to demonstrate the greenish blue rather than the fluorescent blue, which is for demonstrating the reddish blue, and it's very well known for its deterioration. And as time went by, and the fluorescent cyan has already turned a little bit brownish as we expect, and the colors have been generated on the basis of this chiseled big pyramid structures on the basis of the fluorescent cyan. First, in this way, both the artists or the famous artists who can make use of the synthetic color to emphasize the space of the hierarchy that they create. Also, not only did the usage of colors and mixture of the colors successfully to be beneficial to creating the sense and stimulates the sense of the space of the hierarchy, but also did the division of the dimensions that artists who employ it can achieve this result in terms of the audience build. And similarly, Mr. Claude Monet and my grandpa and I who employ the same techniques by means of the introducing the natural atmosphere such as the mist and fog as the medium to demonstrate this division of the dimensions. In Monet's painting, he made use of the mist as the horizon, as the division to demonstrate the water of the surfaces, and to separate the parts above the water and the parts shadow under the water by means of introducing a bunch of the potter's paint colors. And smartly, he made use a little bit of brownish blue-green as the sky color to distinguish the mist that he creates surrounding and on the surfaces of the water. And in contrast, similarly, because the mist occurred and arose by the condensation that arose by the air, the cold air in contact with the air on the surface of the water. And in this way, the convention that occurs because the atmosphere on the surface of the water is much warmer than the atmosphere in the air. Then the Monet still smartly to demonstrate this flowing atmosphere. This flowing means which is going to generate the formation of the fog. Similarly, my grandpa and I who make use of the fog as the division of the dimension to demonstrate frontier juncture, and because the value fog cannot be escaped, and has been burnt off by the bunch of the mountains. So in this way, the mountains up close and the mountains which is far away and at a distance has been separated by a bunch of the frogs automatically. So these are two methods that a large amount of the famous artists who employed in their paintings. But in comparison, the average painters who had not yet noticed even until right now. These are original thoughts from jiesong, who formally presented in Guangzhou on January 8, 2019. And all the copyrights are reserved and no copyrights allowed to be infringed. Thank you very much.